This is the Red Lover Show with me, Josh Everton, Andy Simcox, Alan Smith, and Craig Wood. The usual four are back. It's nice to have the band back together. So we'll be reacting to our solid 1-1 draw against Bolton yesterday and also reviewing the transfer window. Three players in and a fair few out on loan as well. So a lot to discuss in the transfer window, so let's get stuck into it. So, Al, you were there at the Tough Sheet Stadium yesterday. What do you think to it? Because it's one of those games, obviously, I think beforehand we went into it knowing Bolton's form and sort of the side in which they've created and thinking this could be a rough afternoon, but wasn't really the case.
It wasn't what it did. Won 6 of the last 7, and going there, you're thinking, "Oh yeah, it's going to be a tough afternoon at the Tough Sheet Stadium." But well done to Collins and getting his side correctly and getting Erling early. Oh, there you go. And what a performance he had for me playing at match. And we started on front foot, didn't we? And we had to do to go at them. And what for on just under 5 minutes, long throwing by Cotter, flick on by, I think it was Herbie Kane, and who's there? Andy Cole to get his 17th goal. And what a player now he is for us.
That couldn't have been more wrong.
Why?
Phillips flicked it on and Devante Cole scored it, not Andy.
Oh, Devante then, all right.
And he was there. And he was there.
Go back 20 years there, Al.
Devante got his 17th. And at the end of the day, his minutes per goal is at 141. So he's up there at top now at stats at goal scores in League One. And to be honest, we should have been out of sight before they scored their goal. Chances what we had and created, and that high press on their back three were tremendous. And if it wasn't for Baxter their goal before they scored on in 60 odd minute or whatever, 68, I think, we could have been 3 or 4 up. Game could have been lost for them. But all in all, best performance I've seen for a long time by us. I don't understand why their player didn't get sent off because we're at far end. When McAtee was brought down, I thought straight red. But I haven't seen it back yet, whether he got ball or not. But John Busby, he had a bad game for both sides. I mean, their players were going down at like a slightest touch and were giving free kicks for nothing. But worst one for me were when, what were they playing now? Iredale.
Ideal. Yeah.
Cotter. And then Phillips were going to put ball into the box and pushes him, takes him down. He does 2 fouls. And you don't even talk about the booking. What's that about? Especially as MDG got first booking within 2 minutes. So there was no consistency and a number of offsides. Well, we were singing offside every time we were going forward with that linesman on. Well,
you know that referees and linesmen play to the crowd sometimes, Al, don't you? So you're shouting offside. We're a rate help.
Hey, it got us there. But I'm thanking Bolton ones anyway for letting me use the lift. I didn't have to go up all those stairs, so thank you for that. But no, all in all, as I said, a draw. Ain't 2-2. I said didn't have preview, and to be honest, I'd say happy with a draw. But looking back on it yesterday, I was a bit sluffing. I thought it were 2 points lost.
I think I've seen a tweet by Doug O'Kane, Craig, that said something sort of similar. It's almost reminiscent of the Peterborough game of played so well and then just got pegged back. And I mean, I suppose when you look at the improvement from the start of the season, we're playing top 6 sides. It seems now that we're playing well. We're just missing that clinical edge because, as Al said, there could have scored 3 or 4, and it just seemed like one of those days where you knew what the scripts were going to be when we'd not converted those chances.
Yeah, I mean we had numerous chances in the game, but I've got to disagree with Al. I think it was a point well earned. I think both teams deserve to get something out of the game. I mean the amount of chances they had from set pieces. If you look at Toll and Iredale, I think they had 4 headers in the area that were pretty much on target or close to. I thought they were aerially dominant, especially at set pieces when the big centre backs got up top. But yeah, it was a brilliant game. I thought Josh Sheehan, Oscar performance. The referee, one of the worst refereeing performances in the first half I've ever seen. Like I said, Iredale, I don't know how he stayed on the pitch because it wasn't just them two consecutive fouls. They were doing it constantly all game. Their two set, well, their two of their three, the outside centre backs was so aggressive, but they'll be matched by our outside centre backs. Because if you watch Josh Earl push into midfield, Jordan Williams would push into midfield, and so would Dejuvene, to be honest, to close down their extra man in midfield. And it was a great performance from us, and it was something I wasn't expecting. I thought we'd either get trans 4-1, or if we had those normal three, I said we'd still lose 2-1. So I'm still impressed with the team that went up. But I think Collins ruined us in the second half with that substitution for Conor Grant. Not saying Conor Grant did anything wrong, but what he did do is he pulled Phillips off that front line and pulled him back next to Connell in midfield. So that press, we lost it completely in the second half. We put Devante up top instead of left wing. We put Phillips into central midfield, and we put Conor Grant on left wing. But it kind of, I don't think he knew we were meant to stay there because he kept wandering into the middle, which then obviously give them an out ball every time, and that's how they managed to dominate the last 10 minutes of the game because the press just wasn't there. But I think the the standout performance today. I mean, the new centre back were absolutely fantastic. As I put in the chat as soon as we signed him that he was a very good player in a very poor team. I think I put that in our chat as soon as he signed, because I've always liked Josh Earl. I thought he's always been a good centre back. Even when he was at Preston, I thought, you know what I mean, he were only a young kid back then, but you know what I mean. Sometimes you can just see stuff in talents. But yeah, also, can we tell Cotter to stop throwing his son all over the place? It's getting embarrassing now. I mean, even I'm looking at him going, come on, mate, just stop. Just stop. I mean, you've got Sheehan there with an Oscar performance, you know, and then we've got Cotter. It's like a school play against like an Oscar winning movie. You know, just give up. Just if you go down naturally. Stop doing the extra two flips and then a somersault, and then just give up. But all in all, hey, I'll take the point. You know, against the most informed team in the league, who I think are going to be up in first place. Yeah, I'll take it.
And I don't think we've won this since '97, have we?
I have no idea. I'll take your stat for it though, Al, if you are the stats man, especially historical data like that.
In the
Andy,
league, Al, we did in cup last. We did last year, Alan.
Not league, yeah, but I'm
in
on
league. In league, yeah.
Andy, obviously, as Craig said there, a point well earned. But as Craig and Al have already mentioned, Josh Earl on his debut as well. Fantastic performance, realistically, given that it's been in the building, what, 24 hours?
If that were both teams had got a brand new centre half, aren't they playing because they've got the injury or an injury, not as many as they said they got, but got an injury. He were absolutely outstanding. So many times he got his head on the ball to clear it. He looked assured on the ball. He tackled well. He tackled really well, and he looks quick. You know, I don't know. I mean, we knew we were quick. Well, I thought we knew we were quick. And he certainly was. A number of times he got to the ball first and shielded it and what have you. So it did really, really good. I think Alan did all right because he got that Barry Cotter took the throw in for our goal. So, you know, one in three is not bad, Al. Not bad for a Sunday morning.
What
It'd be
about
nice.
said out?
Oh, no, just
And about
Herbie Kane and Andy Cole. It's a pity we didn't have Andy Cole playing up front with him. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? But,
well, it's all right, Andy. You said
don't
it.
start, Alan.
You started, Andy Cole. You said it first.
Don't start, Alan. Just don't
Don't
start.
pick on me, Simcox, on a Sunday morning.
Right. Before I continue about the game, I just want to ask you, Alan, and you, Josh. I think it's called the Reebok Stadium in my head.
Mhm.
What do you two call it?
They call it the Reebok.
What do you call it, Alan?
It's the TSS Stadium.
I just thought you might be childish enough to want to say it again, Alan.
Why would I say that?
I just thought it were Tough Sheet at the Tough Sheet Stadium, that were all. But
Don't say it.
that's if I want to be as childish as you, Al.
Come on, lads.
Don't say it. It's Sunday at 8 o'clock.
It is. Right. I thought it were a good. I thought Barry Cotter had possibly his best game for us. I absolutely agree with with Craig that he has taken over from Herbie from last season as our tumble down Ted, because my God, he well, like a dying swan a few times, but I thought he played all right. He actually defended a bit. I got a bit worried when we scored, because it were a good goal. You know, it were a good game. I thought it were a good game. It were a good goal. And then we let them have possession. I'm thinking, we cannot defend like this and let them all hold this ball and come away with a win for the rest of this game. It is much, much too long to go for us to play like this. So when it got to half time, and I thought, it's all right at half time, both teams had chances in that first half. And Craig's right, they dominated in air from a few set pieces. And let's hope that that's now going to be put right with the signing of Donovan Pines. We'll see, won't we? We'll see. And a bit of trepidation for the second half. I thought we can't have another 45 minutes like this. And yet we come out of the traps. And as you've said, we could have been 4 goals up. We had so many chances. Early on in that, with the pressing that second half, they come out like men on fire, and it was lovely for me. I thought it was lovely to see, and I thought 2 things. I thought, we're going to win this because we're going to put one of these in. Surely we're going to put one of these in. But it were a bit like the second half against Exeter, that we couldn't just quite put it in. Their goalkeeper made a couple of really good saves down at the foot of the post from a daisy cutter from Adam Phillips. We had Devante. Didn't quite well, tried to, opened his body up, and goalkeeper anticipated and made a good save from him. I don't think it were a penalty or a sending off against Adam Phillips. Alan, I thought he got the ball before. I thought the defender got the ball before he took the man. But that's just my view. I absolutely agree that Iredale shouldn't have been nowhere near that football pitch. There were 2 fouls in a few seconds, were both bookable offences in my opinion, and nothing at all. And the second bit is that, much as I thought we might win, because we're definitely going to score another goal the way we were playing. You always have, as probably every football fan in the country has. You think we're going to rule those missed chances. You know something's going to happen, and we're going to regret not scoring one of those chances. And a high ball to the back stick down to our right-hand side. Barry couldn't get up to it. Whether Pines would have been there to be a difference, maybe it wouldn't have. He rose like a salmon and put it in. But it were a foul beforehand. I thought there were 2 things for me. The referee, I won't say it were as awful as Craig said, but I can see why referees this season are starting to let minor things go. But you can't let minor things go when it's a clear barge it back and flattens somebody from behind. There's
He took Kane out, didn't he? He took Kane out. I saw
he
that.
absolutely took him out. So there's a big difference between absolutely clear fouls, flattening somebody, and letting play on. That's just ridiculous. He started off by waving cards at us and not doing it for Bolton. I thought that were a bit much. But in fairness, it was mitigated by the linesman, who always seemed to put his flag up, whether we were offside or not. He put his flag up for the second game running, put the flag up.
Yeah.
And I think it was down to Alan, shouting offside. I think he probably thought, with Barnsley fans think it's offside.
Excuse me,
It must be offside.
1,500 Reds besides me shouting that, Andy. You weren't there. I was.
1,500 is nice, Alan. Now, sorry, love. Sorry. In here, Cal. And you got to lift up to the top, Al. Flipping it. Well done to Bolton. I thought Bolton played all right. I think we kept Vic quiet. I thought we kept Dion Charles quiet. I don't think they got that much of a sniff, or hardly a sniff whatsoever. I thought Dempsey played well for them. I thought he
We
were.
give too much space, Andy.
Yeah, he were a thorn at it. And that's what happens, Al, isn't it, when you give them space? It gives them a chance to set themselves and have a go. I thought Sheehan were really good in midfield for them. I thought Ideal were a disgrace. I thought their goalkeeper were really good. He made a couple of really good saves. But we have to say that our goalkeeper made one incredible save. I mean, our goalkeeper played well and did what you expect him to do. I wish he'd have come a bit more for balls floated in, given the fact that we weren't as dominant on one side of our defences. I think if you know that, try and come for it and get it away. Don't just leave it to the defenders because they're not going to. We know they're not going to win it. So a world class save on it, down to his left hand side with a shot that were deflected or hit the ground and deflected. What a save that was! And as you've said, Josh Earl, what a debut! And I didn't know very much about him, unlike Craig, so it were helpful to be able to talk to Craig so you could see what he were like. But what a debut! And you can see, you can say, oh, it's one game, who knows? But you can see that he is class. Maybe in a poor team, but he is class. They'll miss him no end.
What about
well, they're actually gone on a 1-3-0 today, Fleetwood. So I don't know. It might have been a good over for him, to be fair.
Oh, he's rubbish. He's rubbish. Then send him back. He's
when
rubbish.
We get Dominic Pines, lads, when we get Dominic Pines in that back three,
Who's he? Who's Dominic?
Alan, I know it's early, love, and I know you were there yesterday, Al.
Donovan Pines,
Al. Donovan, Al.
Back three. That's going to be some back three, I think.
Can we just say, right, if Donovan is half as good as what DVG is and what Josh Earl is, right, and getting Williams back on that right-hand side, what a team we're going to have, because I think that is going to be a really strong team.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, Craig, because that is going to give me a perfect segue into how we acquired these players in the January transfer window that has just come to an end.
Nice, Craig, nice.
That's it, you see.
I really like that segue there, Craig.
And segue and all, Craig, eh? He's using the terminology. It's turning into Joe, isn't it?
It's not one of them you ride, is it?
Oh dear.
I'd love to see you on one though, Hal.
Not one of them hoverboards. That won't go and miss either. Right, so players in this January transfer window. Donovan Pines at centre-back from DC United on a free transfer. Josh Earl from Fleetwood Town on an undisclosed fee. And Conor Grant on loan with an option to buy. So those are players in. Players out. Aaron Leira-Seca has gone over to Crete. Callum Styles on loan to Sunderland with an option to buy in the summer. Conor McCarthy on loan to Swindon. Casper Lapata has gone to Port Vale on loan. Andy Dallas returned from his loan at Kilmarnock and has gone back out to Oldham Athletic on loan. Kieran Lostow returned from his loan from Gateshead and has gone out to MK Dons on loan. Jack Shepherd's gone to Cheltenham on loan, and Owen Dodgson was recalled by Burnley. So, after all of that January window loanness, realistically, because I think more or less 90% of that is loans in and or out. Andy, what would you rate on a scale of 1 to 10?
It's funny, isn't it? Because when it comes to the transfer window, the last day, we all start getting a bit, I won't say panicky, but we all start seeing what other people are doing, then looking at what we're doing and thinking, oh, come on. And there's all sorts of rumours about who we're in for. Whether it's true or not, we don't know. There are all the stuff about George Byers. Are we in for him? I actually don't know if we were in for him or not, but obviously he went to Blackpool. Mm-hmm. So that knocks you down a bit. If in fact we were in for him, and who knows? Then there's stuff about, I would have liked to striker him, but to be realistic, there's Flavel and all. Don't forget Flavel's gone to Bradford Park.
He's gone to Bradford. He had first game yesterday and winning side away. I think they won 3-2.
Yeah. So for his brother Ross, because Ross watching. Sorry, Ross, that we didn't mention your brother.
That's entirely down to transfer market that I've just taken all of that from.
So we can push blame over in
it straight away.
Spoken like a true politician, Craig. It weren't me. It weren't me, Gov. It was them.
It's the transcript.
It was them. Yeah. I think when before the transfer window opened, the thing that we were most we felt, and I think the club felt we were most in need of, was a strong back line. That up front we were all right. We were scoring goals, and we scored a lot of goals. That in midfield we got a tidy midfield for a first team. Let's be right, for a first team, a tidy midfield. But in defence, we were vulnerable at times, and a lot of that was down to we got raw players. So we got your Jack Shepherd's, who's I think is going to be a good centre half, but is yet to. He's not played enough, and he's prone to some mistakes, as you would expect, having come from where he came from. Lapata the same. I know people talk Sheffield United, but he came from non-league as well. We've got to remember that he went to non-league, and then he was injured. So we're having to play Jordan Williams there. I don't mean it as any disrespect to Jordan Williams, but he's not a centre back. He's got the speed, but he's not got the power. Although he has done better lately, I think, at centre back. He's a right wing back, and he's very, very good at right wing back generally for us. So we knew we had to. I think we knew we had to strengthen at the back, and we got Donovan in, and we know we got his international clearance pretty quickly. He's had a couple of caps for the USA, but as Craig had said, I think on their away end, not on the fan zone podcast, that he's not played since October, so he's got to get up to speed. And hopefully he'll be playing early on this next week, and he will be up to speed ready for next week. And that's what we all hope, because he will be really good if he's half as good as what everybody's hoping he is. Although I think some people are hoping that he's not very good, so we can wag the finger at other fans. And that would sort that out. That would sort the back line out. They're obviously the bit to worry about McCart. He's not our player. He's on loan, but he's staying, but he's injured. Now, I don't know how injured he is, if that sounds daft. I don't know when he's likely to be fit. So I thought it was good business that we brought in another centre-back. And we did. And we brought in what is clearly a quality centre-back. So we've sorted out the bit that was really, really necessary, I think. And we should be really chuffed with the board about that. With Callum Styles going, and Dodson going back, as we know, it makes us a little bit light, either in midfield if somebody gets injured, or suspended, because we're racking up bookings. So we get suspended. So that's a bit of a worry. Although I know Earl can play at left wing back, but you'd prefer him to be where he is. So when the window closed, I'm a bit thinking, well, I know we've been looking at midfield, and we've been looking up front, from what I understand. And Conor Grant, I don't know how good he is or not. I don't know. He looks, I mean, Alan looks good on YouTube as a footballer, and he is. He looks good on YouTube, but whether or not he'll be good for us, but he looks all right. He looks all right, a steady start. So that midfield bit that's been left by Callum Styles, I think's all right. Wing back still bothers me a bit. It would have been nice to have another striker in, but sometimes you've just got, we forget we're in League One. We look at other people, including, let's say, for an example, Bolton, and they bring, they're scoring goals and all. They've brought in Aaron Collins. So, you think, well, they've strengthened up front. Why aren't we? But we needed to strengthen at the back. And, funds are limited. I know we got money in the summer and that, spend your money and all that game. But we've put right, really, what we needed to put right. And so for that, I think it's all right. I think I won't go as far as, I don't know if you want to call halves, 6.5, maybe going up to 7, because we sorted out on paper. Well, we sorted out what absolutely, essentially had to be sorted out, which was the defence.
Yeah, I think, Craig, obviously, when the window shut and you looked on Twitter, you'd think that we'd sign nobody, looking at the reaction and sort of the annoying to fans, which I get to a degree. But as Andy said, we're sort of so far down that pecking order in League One that it's difficult. There's Championship sides who we're waiting for a move from the Prem to come and plug a gap for them, to then allow that player to come down to us. But then we might need to shift someone on before we bring someone in. So it's very, There's a lot of a lot of spinning plates, a lot of moving parts, especially in the January window. I think when you see sort of how quiet it was anyway, right up until the last couple of days, um, it seems like one of those where we identified the gaps, we've sorted them issues, and it almost comes to a point where I don't know if we've been a little bit too greedy as fans of saying we'd like cover here, we'd like cover there. I do think left wing back is a position that is now a little bit light, especially now without Dodson there. How would you rate it?
I think a solid 6. At the minute, I agree with a lot of what Andy's just said. I think fans need to stop this game of we're playing Football Manager and it's easy to do transfers. You know, there's a reason why most teams wait until the end of the window to do all the business. It's because then prices are at the cheapest when people are desperate to get rid. You know, at the startup window, they're asking for a lot more for the players. Um, not just that, but you've got to think that Bobby Aslan come into the job, late. So he hadn't had as much time as maybe other clubs have had to look at players. But I think, look, if you would have said before the window, we're going to go from Lapata to Donovan Pines and we're going to go from Jack Shepherd to Josh Earl, and we're going to strengthen up that midfield with Conor Grant, I think personally, I've seen Conor Grant play a few times, and I think he's a good player. I think he shows a lot of spirit. He shows a lot of energy, and I think that's one of the things we needed, as well as the back line needed sorting out. But we are light. I think we're going to be light in defence if Robbie Cundy doesn't come back. We're also light in midfield if, say, we need Benson to come back. We're waiting for injuries to give us depth back because we have lost some of that. But all in all, am I disappointed? Yeah, I really want to buy us. I think that's a solid source that come from at the beginning, and I think we left it too late. And I think that's one of the things you do when you do it the way we do it. We should try and get as cheap as possible. There's always a chance somebody's going to be coming in willing to pay what they want before they get to a price you're happy with. But, you know, less than 24 hours, what I mean, buyers go somewhere else. You've got to find somebody quick. Conor Grant's not a bad pick. We played him when he were at MK Dons last season. Solid player. Played him when he was at Port Vale this season. Solid player. So it's just getting more bodies in. But yeah, I don't think we're going enough for automatic. I don't think we've done that well, but I think we're going enough for playoffs. And if you ask my daughter, that's brilliant because that means we've got a possibility to go to Wembley again, which means her dad's going to be spending upwards of £300 again. So she's really happy with that. so yeah, 6.
Good. I think that seems to be the general consensus. Craig's mentioned there, obviously, we do look somewhat light in certain positions. And obviously with Lapata and Jack Shepherd going out, we've sort of lost 2 players who, especially the first part of the season, Lapata played a considerable amount of games and then got injured. And then Jack Shepherd came in and sort of was cover for McCart whilst he's there. In terms of them 2 going out on loan, would you have loaned both of them out? Because I've seen a lot of people say on social media that has left us a bit light. But for me, I think I've still got us down for having 5 of the 3 of Hines, MDG, Earl. Then we'd have McCart back, and then Jordan Williams, who can fit into there, which you can't really then leave a young lad just to sit and potentially bench warm in the idea that you might have an injuries crisis at one point.
They need game time, don't they? If they're going to progress, they're not going to progress just being in squad and not getting game time. I think it's a good move. I mean, when window closed, I said it were a 3, to be honest. But then seeing our played yesterday and what we've got, and as I say, we could have done with another striker because Jallo's out for the season now, injured, isn't he? So we ain't got Jallo on bench to come and as a young lad to help and assist in the last 10-15 minutes. So I think it's 5 out of 10 for me. I've changed. It's gone up a bit, but yeah, we're still like. But then again, they've listened to Neil Collins. Neil Collins were a defender, and he wanted defenders in, and I'm hoping that he had a say in it, and he's got who he wants, and it looks like he has. And as I said, that defence yesterday were totally different. and long may it continue. And let's see what side he puts out in defence against Leighton Orient. And I'll be there on Tuesday to see Pines have his first game against, I think it's Hull City under 21s on Tuesday at 1 o'clock.
Oh,
Can I just say as well, where you were saying that Collins had a say, I think he did, because he also Pines. I mean, he were over in America. He saw lots of football, American football. So he'd have seen lots of Pines. So when people are saying, "Oh, we're signing players from abroad because they're cheap," blah blah blah. Look, that's weird. He's been there for 3 years. He's seen a lot of American football. So if we do start dipping into that market, it's not because we want to become American or whatever. It's because that's where he's been. That's the players he's seen. So I just wish that our fan base has stopped being so aggressive. I've come off Twitter. I stopped looking because it's just embarrassing, some of the stuff. People present opinions as facts with no stats to back up anything they're saying, and it's embarrassing. It really is.
As my Auntie Delia said, get behind them.
That's
Let's
it.
be
Yeah,
having-
get
let's be
behind them.
having
Stop
you.
complaining. Yeah,
Let's
that's
be
it.
having you.
Delia Smith.
I mean,
let's be
people
honest. Let's be honest though. If he's half as good as the last American we signed, I think we're in there with a very good player because DK, what last player we signed, who against Chelsea was written off against when he was playing against Thiago Silva, the Brazilian international. He was written off as a terrible player, and then he went and scored 13 goals.
How
in
many
second half?
people said that? What slating Josh Earl though? They're like, oh, Josh Earl, he's just another cheap signing from a team that's getting relegated. And then he goes and puts in a performance like that, and there's a lot of tweets being deleted, straight away. Get lost.
You can have good individuals in bad teams. Look at Mads, Helic.
That's
They're
it. Just
both
stop
good
getting on the
defenders.
players back before they deserve you to be like that with him. You know what I mean? If I were a player today, I would not have no social media because there's so many negative people out there that just can't stand to be wrong. So it's easy to be negative because you win either way then. Because if you're wrong, you're winning, and if you're right, you're winning. So grow up.
I agree.
Who's my
I
head?
mean,
I'm so sick of it. I really am.
people are entitled to their opinions. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but not when they display them as facts.
Some it's getting a little bit silly, and some I saw some that descended into downright abuse, and that's towards the board, towards play.
Julie especially. I'm sorry,
just,
but if you're a man and you're going out there and you know some of the abuse that I've seen, I'm sorry, but I've got a mother and I've got a sister and I've got a daughter, and that is damn right wrong.
Well, they can't have, can they? If they feel that it's okay to be misogynistic like that, they can't have it. I just think I saw one that said, "I can't wait for Donovan Pines to be absolutely rubbish, so I can wag my finger at people." That sort of thing. I think that's not a proper fan. That's just somebody who wants to be proven right. They don't want the best for the football club. But that's how people are sometimes, and you're right. That's how people are on Twitter. And I expect that it's the same way every club. And I just think, why? It's keyboard warrior.
Warriors.
And I just think,
I don't understand, lads, why they want us to fail.
Well, they can say that they were right and that this board's wrong, and that they're right. But the thing is, they don't know how to run a club, but they make out they do, and I don't know. It's just mental to me. It's like, why would you be punching the air every time somebody plays bad so you can go on Twitter just to say they played bad? It's like trying to get some sort of fame from negativity. I mean, it's not a good combination, is it?
And I thought a fan supported through thick and thin.
Well, it's GB News and Talk TV, even though it's for you, Alan. It's that sort of thing, isn't it? Let's pull stuff down. We've become, in some respects, I don't know if it's because of the social media and what have you. I think it possibly is. We've become very negative as a nation, and divided as well. And it's shown. I'm hoping that every other football club have it as well. It can't just be us. But from our point of view,
I think it's more of a social media thing than a club to club thing.
Yeah,
negativity is applauded these days. Though.
Andy. Tan, United will never be defeated. Come on, Tan.
It's Katie Hopkins, isn't it? Hate and get the likes.
This has
that's it,
gone
yeah.
People.
so
Yeah.
far away from transfer window talk now.
Anyway, back to the transfer. Unless I think unless I misread it or misheard it, I think we've had a record number of people out on loan. I think I read that we got 10 players out on loan, which is a phenomenal, League One, a phenomenal amount. Now I don't know if that's a good thing because they're all getting a lot of game time, or if he shows that we're rubbish because they're not good enough for us. We've signed them and then we put them all out on loan. I prefer to think the former, that it's let them get some game time. And what is interesting for me, and I'll shut up about the transfer window, is that at this time, a lot of transfers at this time are loans, and we've signed 2 defenders and the midfielder in Grant. I know we've signed him on loan, but it's with an option to buy. So it's not this. Oh, they'll be gone in. They'll be gone by end of season. The only downside, I think, or the worry for me is we don't want to keep building from scratch. And it's both good and bad. 4 players out of contract in the summer.
Yeah,
It were going to be a
that's
fire sale. We were going to sell all 4 of them: Williams, Cadden, Herbie Kane, and Devante. We were selling them all. Well, we aren't. So we've got to give, in my view, the board some praise that we could have got some money for those players. Presumably, I can't believe that there won't be bids or inquiries coming in that we just knocked back for, such as Herbie Kane and Devante Cole and Cadden and Williams, but particularly Devante, top scorer. Can't believe that people won't be inquiring about him. We've stood firm and potentially have lost a lot of money. So in some respects, they can't win because come the summer, if they all leave or some of them leave,
they're going to get bashed for.
on a free, they're going to get bashed
free.
for. You should have got some money in when you had a chance.
It's
As
no win,
opposed to
isn't it?
you're just cashing in. Well, for me, it's a win, but for a number of people, it's no win because they'll get bashed wherever. And I suppose that's part of being in charge of a football club. But I think well done to them that for players that have made a difference to us for the last few seasons, we've kept hold of it. And it's not just about who you sign, it's who you let go. And we haven't let any of them go. So I think that's a great bit of business.
I think it gives us 6 months as well to work out what to do with the wages, say, from Larry Secker as well, because apparently he was one of the big earners, which means that can be redistributed into those who are out
He
of
scored
contract.
on his debut as well.
No, guaranteed he'll go and back 25 in the second half of season in
Good
Crete.
luck. Good luck to him because we didn't see it. Good luck to him and his mate. Good luck. We spent a fortune for damn all.
Can
So
I
I'm
just
pleased
say
for
though,
him, but
in his defence, he was signed during one of the worst seasons ever. One that was just set up to fail, and it's all been laid on his doorstep.
Yeah, but last season, other players stepped up, having a disastrous season.
Apparently, he
stepped
wanted
up.
away after the first season. So.
And
It was the modern day Phil Gridley.
I just think it's a lot of money for nothing. So I'm glad for him because to say that he were a nice guy, but nice guys put the effort in if they're getting paid, and it would seem, I don't know if it's right, but the report would seem that he didn't. So I'm pleased for him that he's finally got his wish.
I think what Neil Collins says about attitude.
He's not the first one, and he's not the first one to say that.
Yeah,
he's not the only one to say that.
It makes sense. Right.
Well done, lad.
I'm
Off
glad
you
that
go.
Colin said that because at least it means he's got standards in training.
Exactly.
So I think that's where it all starts.
100%. Get your ratings out of 10 and elaborate on why you're giving that down in the comments. We'll have further discussion with you guys as well to see how you think we've got on in this winter window. Right.
Can I just mention a couple because otherwise Tom Webster will kick off, and there's a limit to where I can cope with Tom Webster kicking off at me. For those that don't know, you might well know, but for those that don't, if you click on viewing the show, past shows or this one when it goes out, you'll see just under the title that there's something that says shop. Tom spent a lot of time and effort putting together some merchandise for this show. So it's well done to Tom. All you need to do to see what there is to start with as click on shop. In my view, it's a bit on the some of the stuff's a bit on the dear side, but it all helps. It all helps for us. It's no risk to us, and this show gets a decent percentage of the profits. So I'm certainly going to be getting some stuff. You know, there's like mugs and
Are you going to get an owl shirt?
mugs, an owl shirt. Although, in fairness, the owl shirts only go up to double XL, so no good for us three.
No.
But you know, mugs, travel mugs, cups, all that, hoodies and hats, and a rebranded tumble down Ted. So what's not to like? We'll see. Other things to come as well. So just click on shop and just have a look. And if you want to get somewhat, get somewhat. If you think about it, think about it. But it's worth it. Can I just say that my stupid prediction of losing 3-1 has knocked me off the top of the mini competition. So just let me tell you who's on it, because I'm still at top of the league. Still at top of the general league, the season-long league. But in fairness, I'm being caught. But at the top, we've got RMB, who's at top of the mini league on 8 points. That's Matthew Baines, for those who don't know what RMB is. And he's equal with Reese Pierce, our own Reese Pierce, on 8 points. Me, Wayne Hamilton, Jasper Watson are on 7 points, together with Tim Durkin, who's come good. He's gone 7 points because he got a 1-all. I'll put in and then Dave Booth on 6 and a few others on 6 and then 5s and what have you, including young Isaac. What I can tell you is can't see George anywhere this time at minute. So it's all to play for, since there's not that many games been played, and points make prizes. And it might well be something as a prize. It might be something from our newly created merchandise shop. Who knows? Let's hope. So it's all to play for. So get your predictions in and keep me busy.
Cheers for that, Andy.
I'll get into trouble if I'm not busy.
Yes, please do so. Right, we'll be back on Wednesday with a preview of Leyton Orient and also discussing the new sporting director who is in place. So we'll see you then. You Reds.